Have you ever stopped to ponder the true origins of Easter and other such holidays that we celebrate with such fervour? We mark these occasions with joy and enthusiasm, embracing customs deeply rooted in our cultures. Yet, for many, the true genesis of these traditions remains shrouded in mystery. Easter, for instance, is commemorated worldwide with bunnies, eggs and feasts. But did you know that these celebrations we hold dear have threads leading back to times of antiquity? Indeed, they are entwined with ancient pagan customs that predate many modern religions. From the egg as a symbol of fertility and springtime rituals to the hare as a symbol of abundant new life, these symbols carry echoes of a past far removed from what we associate with these holidays today. So, buckle up as we delve into the fascinating and at times dark history of these celebrations. Prepare to lift the veil of the known and journey into the enigmatic origins of our cherished holidays. Easter, the celebration of resurrection, but did it always symbolize this? Let's delve into the depths of history to discover the roots of this widely celebrated holiday. Long before the advent of Christianity, the festival we know as Easter was celebrated in different parts of the world, albeit in various forms and under different names. Central to all of these celebrations was the welcoming of spring and the veneration of fertility. The term Easter itself is believed to have been derived from Eostre, a Germanic goddess of spring and fertility. Eostre was worshipped by ancient Anglo-Saxon tribes who dedicated the month of April, then known as Eostre, to her. This goddess was often depicted with a hare, an animal that symbolizes fertility due to its high reproduction rate. Now let's talk about the ubiquitous symbols of Easter eggs and bunnies. These symbols didn't just appear out of nowhere. They too have their roots in the ancient worship of Eostre. The egg, with its hard shell encompassing the potential for new life, has long been regarded as a symbol of rebirth and fertility. The connection between eggs and Eostre isn't a far leap to make. Similarly, the Easter bunny finds its origins in the hare that accompanied Eostre. The hare, like the egg, is also associated with fertility and rebirth, making it a fitting symbol for a festival celebrating the renewal of life that comes with spring. These symbols were so deeply ingrained in the celebrations of spring that they endured, even as the religious landscape changed with the spread of Christianity. They were incorporated into the Christian celebration of Easter, which commemorates the resurrection of Jesus Christ, adding another layer of meaning to these symbols. Thus, beneath the chocolate eggs and fluffy bunnies lies a tale of ancient worship and rituals. The celebration of Easter is not just a Christian holiday, but a tapestry of traditions that dates back to times when people worshipped the natural world and its cycles. As we bask in the warmth of Christmas cheer, have we ever thought about its chilly origins? Let's traverse back in time to the pagan roots of Christmas, which was originally known as Yule, the winter solstice festival. The winter solstice, the longest night and the shortest day of the year, was a significant event for our ancient ancestors. It was a time of celebration, but also of introspection, as they observed the sun stand still in the sky before the days began to lengthen once again. This festival of Yule was celebrated by the Germanic peoples and marked the start of the winter season. It was a time to honor the returning sun, to celebrate the wheel of the year, and to welcome the promise of spring. Now, have you ever wondered why we decorate a log during Christmas? This tradition has its roots in the pagan practice of the Yule log. The Yule log was a whole tree carefully chosen and brought into the house with great ceremony. The largest end of the log would be placed into the fire hearth, while the rest of the tree stuck out into the room. This log was slowly fed into the fire throughout the holiday season, a symbol of warmth and light in the heart of winter. Similarly, the concept of gift-giving, which we associate so strongly with Christmas, also has its roots in these ancient pagan practices. During Yule, it was customary to give gifts as a way of celebrating the sun's return, a symbol of hope and goodwill for the coming year. These traditions, born out of necessity and survival, have been woven into the fabric of our modern Christmas celebration, often without our realization. We've repurposed these customs and they've become a part of our lives, creating a link between us and our ancestors. So, while we sing carols and exchange gifts, we echo ancient practices of a time long past. Halloween, a night of costumes and candy, but what shadows lurk behind its festive facade? As we trace the roots of Halloween, we find ourselves in the ancient Celtic world, specifically during the festival of Samhain. This celebration marked the end of the harvest season and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time often associated with death. The Celts, who lived more than 2,000 years ago across what is now known as Ireland, the United Kingdom and northern France, held a profound belief. They thought that on the night before the New Year, which they celebrated on November 1st, the boundary between the world of the living and the realm of the dead became blurred. During Samhain, it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. These spirits were thought to damage crops and cause trouble, but they also allowed the Celtic priests or druids to make predictions about the future. For a people entirely dependent on the volatile natural world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort and direction during the long, dark winter. To commemorate this event, the Druids built huge sacred bonfires where people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. With the Roman Empire's conquest of the Celtic territory around 400 years later, Samhain was gradually melded with Roman festivals. However, the tradition of celebrating the blurred boundaries between the living and the dead endured. As centuries passed and Christianity spread, these ancient customs were woven into the fabric of the new religion. The Church established All Hallows' Eve on the same night as Samhain, a day to honor all saints and martyrs. Over time, All Hallows' Eve became Halloween, inheriting many of the traditions of Samhain. Thus, beneath the masks and the sweets, Halloween carries a spectral echo of its ancient roots. As we have seen, these holidays have roots that reach deep into the past, but they also have a darker side. The festive celebrations and traditions we partake in today are, in fact, sanitized versions of rituals and sacrifices that have, over time, been commercialized and stripped of their original, sometimes ominous, intent. Consider, for instance, the winter solstice. It was not always the benign celebration of the shortest day of the year we know today. Ancient cultures often interpreted the receding sunlight as a time of death, a period when the veil between our world and the underworld was at its thinnest. They held grand feasts, not just for merriment, but as offerings to appease the spirits that roamed freely during this time. Similarly, the Night of the Dead, despite its name, was not always a solemn remembrance of the departed. In its original form, it was a night of fear and trepidation, a time when the living believed they were at the mercy of the dead. Ancestors were honored, not out of respect, but out of fear, with families leaving offerings to keep the spirits of their loved ones satiated and prevent their wrath. Even Easter, with its fluffy bunnies and colourful eggs, has a darker origin story. The holiday was initially a celebration of the spring equinox, a time of rebirth and fertility, but this was not always a joyous occasion. The ancients believed that to ensure a bountiful harvest, sacrifices had to be made and rituals performed, some of which we might find disturbing today. Our modern holidays are a far cry from their darker origins, transformed by time, faith and commerce into the celebrations we know and love. Yet it's important to remember that these practices were born out of a deep respect for the natural world and its cycles, and an understanding of the delicate balance between life and death. So, as we celebrate these holidays, let's remember that beneath their modern trappings they carry the weight of history, and at times a darker past. These holidays, then, are more than just days of celebration. They are threads woven into a grand tapestry of tradition, stretching back thousands of years into the shadows of human history. We've journeyed from the enigmatic origins of Easter, beyond the bunnies and eggs, through the winter solstice and into the Night of the Dead. Each celebration, each ritual, each symbol is more than just a mark on a calendar. It's a testament to our human need to mark the passage of time, to celebrate life, and to remember the cyclical nature of existence. These holidays are not mere festivities, but echoes of ancient beliefs, customs, and an enduring human spirit. They are a testament to our collective memory and our shared human experience. So next time you celebrate these holidays, remember you're not just participating in a tradition, you're stepping into a story that's as old as time itself.